Now, for more, let us bring in Mark Simone, Hall of Fame WOR radio show host, the great Joe Concha, media and politics columnist at The Messenger and Fox News contributor, and making her debut on this show, Emma-Jo Morris, politics editor at Breitbart News. So, Madam Debut, we're going to start with you. What happened last night? What happened last night? What happened to Nikki Haley? What happened to Donald Trump? Read me your take, please.
Sure. You know, Nikki Haley, he calls her bird brain, and I kind of love that. And the only thing that facilitates bird brain not being able to put her arms around what's going on right now is the fact that she has these massive donors. You know, you have the LinkedIn founder, you have Coke. And that's why, as you said in your opening, that she can't talk about open borders because that's not the issues that her string pullers want to talk about. So she gets to live in this delusion that she has a chance. People are funding that delusion and enabling that delusion, and she gets to go on. And but you know, today Charlie Gasparino said that donors are looking at her a little more closely and reconsidering some of that. Reid Hoffman, CNBC, LinkedIn founder, he's out. So we'll see how long this can last. I don't know that she sticks around till South Carolina, actually. I
know. I agree with that. That's a good possibility. It's a very interesting point. You know, the thing about politicians, which I always love, and I got to give credit to Roma Duravi, who said it on this show, to Trump communications staffer. Politicians say no, 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 right up until the time they say yes. No, I'm in. No, I'm not out. No, I'm not out. Yes, I'm out. So I think that's a good point. Mark Simone, did Donald Trump win last night, or were there any glitches in this win, or was he too harsh in his own speech, which he changed because Nikki Haley got under his skin a little bit? How do you read that?
No, he was fine. She really made a mess out of this. You know, this was the one state where she had a huge advantage. 70% of her votes were non-Republicans. She had the consolidation she said she needed. All the other candidates were out. It was all her. She's terrible at reading the room. All week she's talking about being a brown girl growing up as a race. It's not an issue in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's the one place where it's not an issue. She went after Trump for being too big a spender. She spent $30 million in New Hampshire.
Wasn't she the biggest?
Yeah, it's an all-time record.
What is this mental competency test nonsense? I mean, she's saying Trump is not mentally fit. I thought that was Joe Biden. She's mixing it up. Is she mentally fit? I mean, that's what got under his skin.
She's mentally fit, but she better pray they don't do IQ tests, because I think Trump wins that, too, by double digits. So she has a role to play, which is wasting as much donor money as possible. Let her do that for a couple of weeks. She'll be out soon. And if she's out before March 3rd, this will be the longest general election in history. So I don't know what we're going to do for all these months.
You want anything to talk about? I'll talk about the stock market. We'll be a business show for a change. Joe Concha, I'll ask the same question from your perspective. How did Trump do last night?
I look at numbers.
Yep.
Take the noise and the opinions out of this, right?
Yep.
As you mentioned, no candidate has won both Iowa and New Hampshire since 1976.
Yep.
Believe it or not, that's nearly 50 years ago.
Wait, was that Carter? Who?
Ford.
It was Ford? Ford took both states?
Gerald Ford.
Boy, I'm very impressed with that. Sorry, Joe.
Good football player. Anyway. So then Trump beats Nikki Haley by 32 points and DeSantis by 30 in Iowa. And then I got to look at other cable news networks saying, no, actually, it wasn't a good night for Trump. That would be like criticizing Secretariat at the 73 Belmont for only winning by 31 lengths. Trump vanquished Ron DeSantis. He dropped out after Iowa. I'd say you had a pretty good night if that is your biggest threat. And now he wins by double digits again in New Hampshire. And I got to hear about how, wow, this was really a great night for Nikki Haley. Anybody here at the table can show me one state that she could win? Because you would think that would be South Carolina. That should give her her biggest advantage. Obviously, her home state. She was a popular governor there. But she doesn't have the endorsement of the governor who's currently there, McMaster, or of Tim Scott, or of Lindsey Graham, or of multiple Congress people. So if she's down by 30 to 40 points there, like polls show, and this isn't for another month, then you tell me what the path is. There is no path, yet other networks and other publications seem to be propping her up because I guess maybe they want the clicks and the ratings to go on for a little bit longer. You know,
old friend of mine, very prominent member of Congress for many years, himself a presidential candidate. Anyway, he called me yesterday afternoon, and he's not a big Trump, he's not never Trumper, but he's not a big Trump supporter either. Anyway, we were talking, the smart guy, and he said Nikki Haley's narrative is simply to beat up, bash Trump. That's all she has. It's not about issues. And that is ultimately why you're going to lose.
Well, that's
because people are concerned. Here, let's put up on the chart. First of all, we got a couple of things. Excuse me. We'll get right back to you. People who Trump's strengths. We run that. No college degree, 64%. Very conservative, 81%. Rural caucus scores, 57. That's the base of the base. Okay. Now here's an interesting one. One total change in how the U.S. is run. Okay. I call this drain the swamp, and I think this is a subtle underground issue that resonates, even though hardly anybody talks about it. Want total change in how the U.S. is run. Trump 83, Haley 15. All right. Now, one more financial situation. Getting ahead, 13%. Holding steady, it's like not getting anywhere. It's just treading water, and then falling behind, 27%. This is still. I don't care how the GDP was last quarter. This is still the problem. There's an affordability crisis in the U.S. And finally, this could be my favorite one, U.S.-Mexican border wall. Look at 61% favor, somewhat favor, 18. That's 79% favor a wall, okay? Now, you never hear Haley talk about the wall, ever. Actually, Trump's the only guy that consistently talks about the wall. Emma-Jo, you look at those issue points, and I would say it gives a good read on Trump, and I would say it shows how well Trump is doing.
Oh, for sure. First of all, the thing that I think is most salient about what we're watching right now is that it spells the death of the anti-Trump movement, of the Never Trump movement, of the neocon movement. It's over. It's over. Look at those numbers. People want a wall. It's done. And aside from, so that being said, all she's doing, Joe's exactly right, and the numbers all show that. It's not Joe's genius, although he is one.
Thank you.
But it bears out in every single poll that...
Did you call him a genius? That's wonderful.
Yeah, of course. I'm here to state the facts in the news.
Did this happen in the green room? I'm sorry, please continue.
No, but, what I was going to say is just she has no path. It's over. So what is she doing now? She's basically just hitting the brakes. She's pumping the brakes on proper consolidation around Trump and gearing the fire toward Joe Biden. In essence, she is the best campaign surrogate for Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. Mark, how's Joe Biden doing, by the way? Didn't really talk. Joe Biden did win the write-in vote. He didn't do that great. He had, 60%?
62, yeah.
62%. And the guy from Minnesota, Steve Phillips, he had, 18, 19?
Steve Phillips is the former Mets GM. I think you're talking about Dan Phillips.
Dan Phillips,
yeah,
whatever.
Baseball in the brain.
I know. So what did he? I'm going to have to take a mental competency test.
Joe Biden is.
How's Joe Biden doing on this story?
He's a disaster. Jimmy Carter's the only real fan he has because he took the title away of worst president. He is a disaster. He's handing Donald Trump this election by throwing the border wide open.
Yeah.
10 million or how many ever crossed. It's the worst disaster ever for Democrats.
And they still don't. Biden still will not make a deal to close the border. But by the way, you mentioned Jimmy Carter. At the Prosperity Caucus dinner last night or a couple nights ago, Liz McDonald said Jimmy Carter can run rings around Joe Biden. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, and Nikki Haley's like the new Stacey Abrams. No matter how many times she loses, the donors throw a victory party. They're celebrating her. I think she's wonderful. Don't be surprised if she goes for that no labels ticket.
Oh, really?
She's capable of anything when it comes to donors and the swamp.
So she'll wreck her political career doing those kinds of things.
It's pretty much all the way there now. I mean, I don't think she has much of a future in politics.
Joe, Trump's speech in Iowa was more gracious, gentler, welcoming, open. He's really. People said it was a new Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Unifying the GOP, trying to unify the country through good policies, what he called successful policies. Didn't hear that last night because it was a different situation, and he was very annoyed at Nikki Haley. But is the unity idea something that he should continue? You think? Will it help him?
No, not really. I don't think people really crave unity at this point in this country. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I'm all for compromise and working with the other side and so on. But in the end, he just has to stick to 4 very basic issues. Inflation is huge. The border is huge. Crime in American cities, driving people out of San Francisco, Chicago, New York for places like Florida, Tennessee, Texas. That is huge. And foreign policy, you know, the Houthis are still using our ships for target practice over in the Red Sea right now. And the world seems like it's on fire. It was much more stable when Trump was here. He makes that message. He drives that home. That's how you win. But I think for Nikki Haley, by the way, I think when she drops out, she'll still endorse Trump.
You know, Emma-Jo, just to Joe's point, last night, Trump was kind of punching out Haley and punching out Biden. And I got to tell you, I kind of liked it.
Me too.
I mean, it's like, I don't want to be a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
And you turn on the legacy media, and they're all clutching their pearls, and they're appalled. And because of course they're the leaders of unity in this country, of course.
Right.
But
I mean,
I'm
unity,
joking.
I
think he's hilarious. Honestly,
Yeah.
I hope he keeps doing this.
Just
People
keep
love it.
punching him out.
100%.
Just keep punching him out.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Drain the swamp. Let's get down to basics. Close the border. Send the illegals home. I mean, I really think I want him to be unity, but I don't want 100% unity, Mark. You know what I mean? I want Trump to be Trump.
Compared to Biden, he's got unity. He's Dale Carnegie compared to Biden. He wins the unity battle.
Because Biden is just mean, nasty,
Nobody's more
vitriolic.
divisive ever than Biden. Nobody's the most ungracious speeches ever in history were Biden. Valley Forge, Philadelphia. Even yesterday, talking about Trump.
Fabulous, terrific stuff. So Trump's intact, yes. Trump
Yes.
intact, yes. Trump intact.
He is your GOP
Joe?
nominee.
None. GOP nominee.
Presumptive, as they say.
Presumptive. Joe Concha.
First
Mark
person ever to win New Hampshire 3 times.
Wow. Yeah, it's wild. And Emma-Jo Morris from Breitbart, formerly the New York Post.
That's right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate it
much for
very much.
having me. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care, everybody.
She's a genius.